All right, everyone, welcome back into another PrizePicks video. Going to be getting into the top props in MLB, PGA, and WNBA today. But first, just a quick recap from yesterday. Yesterday, kind of thankfully, the PrizePicks slip ended up being a DNP because that would have been a one that missed as well. Kind of got lucky there. Underdog wise, it's kind of crazy as well. These were three bets that got bumped or taken off the board throughout the day, which is the sign of these being good bets. Okay, we know that. The Cunningham one was very tilting, given the fact that I think he got all the way up to 17.5 points on both Underdog and PrizePicks. So the 16, I mean, that it wasn't like a taco or a hot dog, but it was kind of close to that with the discounted prop that we were going to get. All in all, we know that if we continue to attack props like that, it's going to be beneficial for us in the long term. These little days like that are going to happen, which is fine. You kind of just roll with it and know that brighter days are ahead. So now let's go ahead and get into the MLB based props. We do have a couple of decent ones here. Let's start with Bryce Elder here, who all in all, not a terrible prop. So looking at it, we are getting a few good MLB based props. We can start out with Joe Ryan. I want to touch on this because Vegas line has it set at 5.5. PrizePicks has the line set at 5.5. He is only projected to get 5.42. So definitely not a lock and load, but obviously we can see 54.7% chance to hit. This is probably one that I'm assuming PrizePicks will bump throughout the day. So don't want to spend too much time on it. Then from there, we are getting some other ones that are, pretty good. We got Bryce Elder for over pitcher strikeouts. The line is set at 4.5. He's projected to get 4.73, minus 132. A decent prop across the board. Not exactly one we are going out of our way to target, but if we end up on it, good enough. And that is going to be the theme today, is that kind of once again, with it being only MLB, we're not getting a ton of quality props today just yet. So maybe it'll be more of a WNBA PGA day. We'll see. But for now, okay prop. Let's just see if we are getting any good prop line differences here. And really the only one that we are getting is Underdog has already bumped up the prop for Bryce Elder to 5. That makes me assume that probably PrizePicks will as well. But this is only minus 132. So about a 53% chance to hit. He is only projected to get 4.73. So definitely not a lock in though. But once again, on a day in which maybe MLB wise, we're not getting the best props, that would be something we could potentially roll with. Let's go ahead and take a peek at hitting fantasy score props. And someone in the comments yesterday, who's a 9to5 site member, asked, hey, can you go ahead and just add in pitching fantasy score picks for PrizePicks? And I went ahead and did that. Eventually here, I would like to do that for Underdog as well. But let's get into it for PrizePicks. So looking at the hitting fantasy score, it's been crazy lately. Like we haven't had an ideal one. I mean, Bryce Harper was one. Corey Seager was one that popped in throughout the night on Tuesday, like in the evening, but there hasn't been that many go-to hitting score props like we would want. And what I mean by that is we are looking for projections in which the Vegas line is over the PrizePicks line by 2. And we're also looking at it where the projection data that's being pulled in is also over by 2. We can see with Rafael Devers here that it is pretty close. I mean, 1.98 is pretty strong, but we are seeing that there is a heavy under total for that. A little bit worrisome there, but all in all, should be a good enough bet here. If you want to roll with it, you certainly could. Then we got Jose Ramirez, also a pretty good one as well. But once again, just calling out, the under is kind of heavily favored. Because we're not getting that many good props today, I probably will roll with these two. We also have Matt Olson, our boy Matt Olson, popping up in there. Byron Buxton's not terrible. And then also Bryce Harper. Like these are all good-ish prop bets, not exactly ones that we want to be targeting too much. In terms of any under bets that we want to be betting hitting fantasy score wise, not really anything there. So let's go ahead and take a peek at pitching fantasy score props. And we're not really going to get that many good over bets really ever because the projection data, the Vegas line, it's all kind of dictated by pitchers getting a quality start and getting a win. That can be a little bit fluky, so it's very rare that the projection data and or the Vegas line is going to be pulling in that data to suggest that. But you can also kind of get why PrizePicks is kind of bumping it. And we can see with Shane here that it is right in the middle. If you guys want to roll with it, if you think the projection is going to be a little bit off, that's fine. Vegas thinks he's going to get over. Vegas thinks he's going to get a quality start and a win. So you could probably roll with that. In terms of bets that we want to be betting the under on, ignore this one with Logan Allen. We don't have a Vegas line in on him just yet. So, this is not a terrible one. Aaron Nola for under his PrizePicks line, not terrible. Domingo German as well, not terrible. If you want to roll with those, you certainly could. So now getting into WNBA, just trying to find where we are getting maybe some potential props where we're seeing a big difference. And this is interesting right off the bat. I mean, this is kind of the issue that I have with WNBA is that there is a lack of consistency. That's kind of what I preach, his consistency with the data. We can see the Vegas line has her rebound set at 6.5. PrizePicks has the line set at 5.5. Underdog has it set at 6, and the projection data has it set at 6. A huge lack of consistency there. Now, Vegas is heavily favoring the under, so it does make sense kind of why we're getting those lines. At the same time, it is weird that on PrizePicks we are getting a full rebound difference there, right? That's kind of crazy. Typically, we don't get that. That's going to be the biggest prop line difference that we're going to get. Let's take a peek at just between Vegas and another one, Courtney Williams, for assists. So probably rebounds and assists. We could probably bet the under for her there. Nothing that I like too much. Then here we go. This is probably a much better bet there on Underdog today. And guys, I really don't like betting the overs for WNBA. It's just the unders have been the ones hitting. But we can see here the points prop for this is set at 11.5 on average for Vegas. PrizePicks has already bumped it to 12.5. The projection is 14.5. So this is the prop bet on Underdog we probably should be looking at. And then just another okay one that's out there. Elena here, not terrible. The Vegas line has her points and rebounds set at 26. PrizePicks has set at 25.5. The projection has set at 30.2. So not terrible. But yeah, not too much that we love PrizePicks wise. So now let's go ahead and take a peek at both PrizePicks and Underdog here for PGA. So it was very interesting to start the tournament. The PrizePicks and Underdog data was really suggesting that the course is going to play easier than it has in the past. The event average is typically almost a stroke under par or so, but they were all kind of valuing this as a tournament that was going to play much easier than expected. And so that's kind of interesting to me. And if we look at some of these props, like we sort by PrizePick edge, there's on paper a big edge there. Now that being said, the scoring is extremely low. I don't know if that has to do with the greens being a little bit softer and more receptive, but it's not like there aren't players out there struggling as well. They're definitely out there as well. So the scoring average probably will still be there. And just some of the prop bets that I bet earlier today were Max Homa, JT for their overstrokes. And so those are going to be ones that I try to find. Players that have been kind of struggling lately that we could potentially target that way. I do want to call this out for Tony Finau. This is him shooting 4 under par, which I would assume in the afternoon is going to be more difficult to do. We can see Underdog has it set at 68. So you could potentially do the over there on PrizePicks. Another one I kind of want to call out is kind of Russell Henley as well. A lot of people expect Russell Henley to play well this week. Good play, but you got like Colin Morikawa there. Other players, like, is he the same caliber as those players? I struggle to see that. So you could do the over there. We got Corey Connors there as well. Another one where we can see the prop line difference is there for PrizePicks. So could definitely roll with those two for the over par. But for Underdog, I do see this one as kind of a nice edge that we are getting there. Probably could bet the over strokes for Colin Morikawa on Underdog. This is kind of a situation where, yes, we are seeing a lot of easy scoring out there, and a lot of the top name guys are scoring that were expected to play well. That's the key caveat. Like JT, Homa, the players that are struggling right now, even Wyndham Clark, they were kind of expected not to play well, just given for various reasons. So then the question is, do you do that with Ricky Fowler? Will he shoot 3 under par to make this miss, or will he shoot 2 under par to have it be a push? Tough to really say. And then just as an FYI, we are getting another pretty solid one for baseball if we want to roll with that. For Diaz for over singles, to just get a single. If you want to roll with that, you could. 54% chance for that one to hit. So here's kind of a bet slip that I would be running out there for Underdog. Typically, I like to do 3-leg bets just because on Underdog compared to PrizePicks, it can lose one more time than on PrizePicks in terms of break-even threshold. Now, for the most part, we really don't have to worry about that. Had some good success, so hopefully this one hits. But I do want to call it, with golf, I really don't mind kind of betting both sides of it. We had some good props, so we could bet the higher on Underdog. Then we also have some good ones on PrizePicks. So let's talk about the ones on PrizePicks now. All right, so now looking at the bet of the day on PrizePicks, I did have Corey Connors in here originally with Tony Finau down here. They shifted the payout, so I didn't want to roll with that. So that's another bet that we could toss in there. If there's like a hot dog that comes out or any hot dogs that come out today, that's something we can roll with. I doubt there will be because there's not that many MLB games. But then these would be the best props that we were looking at on PrizePicks. Bryce Elder, 4.5 strikeouts. Because Underdog already has it set at 5, I kind of expect it to get bumped. He's only projected to get 4.73 pitcher strikeouts, so definitely not a lock and load. We have seen this week, for whatever reason, and I kind of assume it's because there's no more basketball going on. It's kind of the sport that everyone's focusing on now. The lines have been much tighter. So these hitting fantasy score props, although they're the best on the board, I wish the projection was a little bit higher on them. Okay, so bet of the day. Fingers crossed it's a better day. Let's have a good slate. But that's all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, make sure to give a like and subscribe. All right, let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.